What in the world has Eren Jaeger been up to? And could simply looking at his appearance tell us part of the story? Hello listeners, and welcome to A Dash of Salt with AJ. I'm your host, Ahsoka Jackson. Spoiler warning. Most of the content I make about Attack on Titan is intended for folks who are caught up with all episodes of the anime, unless otherwise specified. Now with that cleared up, let's get into it. Now, there was a teaser trailer released a while before the primary one. In it, we hear audio of Mikasa. She's actually pleading with Eren to come back home. Now, there are a few things we can gather just from that. Number one, Eren is no longer in Paradis or Paradis, depending on how you pronounce it. Number two, for some reason, Mikasa isn't with him. Now that's a massive deal. It would take a lot to keep those two separated. Eren is pretty much Mikasa's reason for living at this point. Not that this is the best dynamic, but the point is that there must be some very serious obstacles preventing her from being with him. Which leads to the third point. For her to be pleading with him to come back, I'm thinking one of two things. Either what he's doing is unsanctioned, or it is something sanctioned by the military, but he has the option at this point of coming home and taking a different assignment, but he's chosen to stay on. And whatever the situation is, Mikasa can't join him there. I think she's concerned for his safety as well. In the teaser trailer, we see these vague images of destruction and total chaos, and it looks like things have pretty much turned into a hellscape. And in the teaser, we also get a super fast glimpse of Eren behind bars, and with the Titan transformation marks around his eyes, which made me wonder if Eren is actually captured by Marley at some point. And I'm wondering, if they captured him, maybe it was when he was in a vulnerable state right after transforming, or maybe he even deliberately allowed them to take him prisoner in order to find Reiner. Now, the topic of Eren and Reiner and their exchange in the primary trailer, is something I'm particularly intrigued by and excited about, and I definitely look forward to discussing that later on. Let's move forward. Based on how he was when we last saw him, awash with despair and homicidal inclinations, some folks are theorizing that Eren just goes totally postal, gives up on all of humanity, and decides to become an enemy of everyone. The people of Marley, the people of Paradis, everyone. But I really disagree with that. His world was turned upside down when he found out the truth about the Eldians' life on Paradis. But I don't think that really gives him reason to hate and want to destroy the people he's grown up trying to save and protect. Heck, he's already seen so many people, including his own direct comrades, die to advance the goal of saving and freeing the people within the walls. Now, we have seen dark sides to the Eldians themselves, like all the stuff going on with the government and the wealthy. That'll make someone world-weary, for sure. And yes, it's fully possible that he'll just pitch a fit and give up and decide to kill everyone. But I don't think that really makes a lot of sense at this point, and I think it's out of character for Eren and for what he said. In the final lines of Season 3, Eren talks about slaughtering all of their enemies across the water, and he asks if that will be enough to free them. So at this point, it's like the goalposts have moved, and he's taking that same desire and behavior of killing off all the Titans, and with a very chilling bluntness and matter-of-fact aura about it, is looking at Marley and saying, "You're next." Now, I am concerned about exactly what Eren meant in terms of enemies and killing them off. How is he defining what an enemy was? Does he just mean soldiers and folks actively fighting against the Eldians? Or is he including anyone in Marley with a hostile attitude towards the Eldians? Because while I'm sure that there are plenty of people in Marley who actually aren't hostile towards the Eldians, I'm sure that there are also plenty who are. And I don't think they deserve the death penalty merely for that. In any case, none of this indicates that he's trying to kill his own people. In fact, I was thinking of that scene where they encountered one of the last few Titans left, and I saw the sadness and compassion in Eren's reaction. And one thing about Eren is that his rage and his empathy and compassion are actually closely tied to each other. That's something I discuss in the article I'm writing for my site currently. Finding out that he and the others have essentially been tricked into killing their own people all this time, people who are trying to free the Eldians, plus finding out the other stuff Marley has done, I don't think that's going to make him want to kill off even more of his own kinsmen. But that probably will make Eren want to do a whole lot of freaking killing over on Marleyan turf. Actually, that's not even a hypothetical. It's what he explicitly and very icily indicated in those last words. Which brings me to the next point. I think the most likely course of action for Eren at this point would be to join up with the opposition across the ocean. Even if the Marleyans did manage to purge everyone from the original opposition force that Grisha headed up, which I have doubts even happened, I think it's inevitable that this kind of justice and mistreatment would eventually cause the human being to rise up again. And all this happened before Eren was even conceived, so if there are any surviving offspring of the original members, they'll all be adults themselves by now. And Eren would be an absolute ace in the hole for them. For one thing, he has actual military experience. Certainly not on the level of someone like Erwin or Levi, but he is legit. And he was able to serve under and learn from people like them. Depending on who all is in the current opposition, I could see Eren's being a leader or maybe even the leader, especially since he may be a symbol of hope for them. He's the son of Mikasa Jaeger, their former leader. Although, admittedly, that didn't end well, and some directly blamed the purge on Grisha. But the more certain factor is the fact that Eren has the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan, and that's where his greatest value would come in. First of all, as a warrior for them. However large the opposition is, they're not going to be anywhere near as large as the organized Marleyan military. So in battling them, they basically have to rely on guerrilla tactics. Eren's presence wouldn't change that, I don't think, but it would still provide a massive boost for their fighting power, and give them a real chance at strengthening their position within Marley. And the fantastic thing about Eren's powers is that they'll actually work pretty darn well for ambush attacks. Most of the time, he'll be in his regular human form, and can move with the same secrecy as any other soldier. But then right when it's time to attack, he can transform out of nowhere and overwhelm Marleyan soldiers who seconds ago were merely dealing with a small contingent of Eldian rebels. Besides the psychological boost, it's going to work really well for them tactically, I would think. And there's a second huge benefit to Eren's Titan powers. Eren and the rest of Team Paradis are now aware of the Patriots, or rebels, plans to use the Founding Titan as a bargaining chip. Its aid was what they would offer Marley's enemies in the East. Which brings me to a quick mini-topic. So far we've only been given a vague concept of something resembling Asia, specifically the Far East and maybe other sections, as the population within Paradis itself already seems like it's part Mediterranean or Middle Eastern, in addition to the European heritage. So I'm thinking of parts of Asia kind of outside that region. So I'm wondering how close it's going to be to real life. Will it be consolidated into a single country, or a federation of them? Or will it be closer to how it currently is in real life? I'm also super curious if Eren is going to visit them in his time away from the team. Maybe there's stuff he can learn over there to help in the battle. Maybe further background about the actual world history and political situations, now that he knows the education he received growing up was so incomplete and inaccurate. Okay, now that I've shared my theories as to what Eren may have been up to since we last saw him, I think we have sufficient groundwork for me to really get into what I've noticed about his new look, and how I think that connects to his character and story arcs. Look for that in the episodes ahead. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you're enjoying the show, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, share, or review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, social media, or whichever app you use to listen. I especially look forward to hearing your Attack on Titan comments, theories, and questions. Be blessed, and stay salty.